Wait, I heard it. What's that? Girls. Girls, thank you. Yes, we talk about women. Amen, but at least I do. So they talk about sports, girls, how he ended up in D.C., so on and so forth. But you could tell that Dre was just touched by the fact that I treated him like a human being. I treated him like he was made in the image and likeness of God, as it tells us in Genesis 1:27. So, I kind of touched him on the shoulder when I was speaking to him. I looked him in the eye when I was talking to him. And I think he was just kind of moved by that. Nonetheless, at the end of the conversation, I said, Dre, it's been 2.5 hours, buddy. I got to go back. I'm going to miss my bus to Cleveland. He said, no problem. He reached out his hand like this. He grabbed my hand, and he grabbed me on the forearm like this, and he pulled me right up to his face and made me feel very uncomfortable, like I'm doing this young man right here, and his breath was worse than mine. I mean, he was homeless, right? So he'd been on the street for a couple of years. He didn't get much chance to brush his teeth. Anyway, as I was pulling back, he said, Peter, and I said, yes, Dre. He says, Peter, you will fulfill your mission. I kind of laughed. I said, sure, Dre, whatever my mission is, I'm sure I'll fulfill it. He said, no, look at me, say it, and believe it. So I said, Dre, I will fulfill my mission. Now, guys, I'm 29 years old, and I can't grow sideburns. I'm still trying to figure out what my mission in life is. But I know that my mission right here and right now is to tell you that you have a mission, and you will fulfill it. Don't ever doubt for 1 second that God has placed you in this time period of history for some great purpose. What it is, you're going to have to figure that out. But God has a mission for your life, and you will fulfill it. All right. At this time, we're going to take some time to talk about personhood, what it means to be a human, and a little bit about, more specifically, the abortion issue. So we'll watch this video. There's 3 clips of it, each run about 5 to 6 minutes. And there's a little spot in between where it will pause. But I want you to pay attention particularly to the woman named Carol Everett. She's admitted in other places that she has been involved in over 20,000 abortions. So these are people who know what they're talking about.
The greatest destroyer of love and peace is abortion. Surely Mother Teresa is being a little extreme. After all, we live in a world torn apart by war, disease, poverty. Why is it that after 35 years of legalization, we are still talking about abortion? Abortion stirs emotion and pierces the heart like no other issue in our culture. And whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, everyone pays attention when abortion is at the front of every political election, sermon, or judicial appointment. Why? Why is one of the most common surgeries in America, happening nearly 4,000 times every single day, generates so much debate and controversy? The only answer can be because of what is at stake in abortion. Life is at stake. Pro-lifers argue that science and reason prove that abortion is murder. Abortion supporters say that freedom of choice over our own bodies is necessary to have privacy and personal liberty in our society. So what is it that we're talking about when we look at abortion? If abortion kills an innocent human being, then we are in fact living in a modern-day Holocaust, with almost 50 million of our own being killed across America. If abortion doesn't kill a human being, then perhaps the religious right is trying to force their ideology on the world and prevent women access to a legal surgery. So what is a person? Are all human beings persons? And what is the moral obligation towards other human beings?
I never really thought about abortion because, of course, I wasn't touched by abortion, but I got pregnant at 16 and was quickly married and had that child, and a second unplanned pregnancy, and of course I was married. And then I was divorced from my first husband, fell in love with a man, And he said, if you ever get pregnant, will you have an abortion? An abortion was so foreign to me. I never considered that I would ever get pregnant. I thought that was taken care of. And I said yes.
I'm an absent-minded professor, and I'm not by temperament interested in political or social issues. So it's unusual that I got involved in the abortion issue. I think the reason was outrage. On other moral issues that impact politics, like capital punishment or the just war theory, I'm kind of agnostic. As a philosopher, I tend to skepticism and to question everything. I think that's a good method. It's a good beginning, but not a good ending of philosophy. But I was amazed that the American public tolerates abortion when it seems to me, as a simple, commonsensical philosopher, that this is not a complex issue.
I had been a single mom and already had 2 children. I couldn't imagine keeping a child. I chose my career over the life of my baby. Very selfish. But at the time, I thought it was self-preservation.
But as Dr. Bernard Nathanson, another good friend of mine, said, when he speaks about how he and his friends engineered the abortion rights movement in this country, he said the church was asleep. He said, we took a conscious gamble that the church would remain relatively silent, because he said if the clergy had spoken up about this, we would never have gotten away with what we did.
I got involved with abortion. I'm a former abortionist. I did not allow the reality of the humanity of this person in that womb to be great enough within my mind and my heart to say that, no, I can't do this. This is a developing human being. I hid behind the legal, or let's just say what the Supreme Court said, that it's okay, as long as I got a piece of paper from this woman saying it's okay to do it, I can throw away the reality scientifically, ethically, morally, and do what this woman wants done, long as she pays me to do it.
Now more than anything, our world needs to understand that abortion ends human life. Giving a voice to the innocent, recognizing the thousands that are building a culture of life, and encouraging others to do the same. This is being human. Surely the pro-life movement is just made of religious radicals who want to impose their morality on women. Science and reason must be on the side of abortion. These assumptions are made every single day. But if we're going to be open-minded, we must question abortion. We have to question what it is and what it is not.
Well, one of the reasons we can mistakenly see abortion as an act of mercy is that we neither see the victim, the baby. We don't see the act of violence. When we see it, and we certainly can't see it, because there are a lot of pictures available on the internet of what an abortion actually looks like, then it cuts through the rhetoric, and it cuts through that deception that is so easy to fall into. But secondly, we don't see the other victim either. And what I mean is that while a person who goes to get an abortion might express at that moment a sense of relief, follow them for some years, see the pain, see the despair, see the devastating effect abortion has on that mother, and you begin to realize that was no act of mercy at all.
Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics have some set talking points. And one of the ones that we used was when she asked if it was a baby, we said it's a glob of tissue, product of conception. It's not a baby. And they would ask, so of course we lied to them. And sometimes they would come in and say, wait a minute, I went to the library and this is what it says my baby looks like. And I would say, who are you going to trust, the library or someone who sees what's in your uterus every day? It's not a baby. And you know, my counselors were there for the same reason I was. They were hurt. They said the same thing. And yet we went in the back. And after each abortion, we had to reconstruct that baby to be sure all the body parts were there.
They've succeeded in convincing themselves that that is only a pre-human or a potential human or tissue. So I think it's primarily an intellectual thing. We've played this intellectual game with ourselves. We've convinced ourselves that we are good, tolerant people and that the object of abortion is not a full person. We don't think of ourselves as Nazis or Aztecs or slave masters. If we did, we'd be terrified.
Well, the way you tell a monkey from a human, from a caterpillar, is simply by the genome. If you examine the genome of just the one cell, once the sperm combines with that ovum, it's the human genome. That's how you determine, you know, we swab some cells out of a person's mouth, and then we examine that DNA. If that's a human, you're going to find that's the human DNA. And if you look at the DNA in a one-cell human, that's going to be human DNA. When you look at the DNA of a 105-year-old human, that's human DNA. So it's your genetic profile or message that determines who you are, not what the Constitution says you are, not what the Jim Crow laws say you are.
There is no such thing as a potential human being. That's an actual human being. It's a very small, very undeveloped human being that can't perform specifically human actions yet, but it will. And it's doing something, even from day one, that no non-human being can do. It's growing a human brain and nervous system.
You take them back for a sonogram, and you get a picture of that baby on the sonogram. And the boyfriend is there, and he says, oh my goodness, it has arms, it has legs. He said, they told me it was a blob. It's a baby, I can see it. So the truth stands inside pregnancy centers. And almost every pregnancy center in the nation has a sonogram machine now to show the whole truth.
In an age where we have technology that shows without a doubt that the baby in the womb is a baby, and not a mass, but a baby. We have technology that shows the movements of the child and the sucking of the thumb and the yawning and those beautiful things that people are now framing